Hey guys, Bigrat310 is here again to continue the Q&A whenever I did not go to school. Simply put, I had to go to the doctor again to just take a look at how the progress of the recovery is going. It's going pretty well, as you can see. I'm probably gonna get back to go to lacrosse. I can do whatever I want now. I can eat whatever I want, even though I still can't swallow certain foods. But we'll get to that later. I thought it would be my last doctor's appointment because I really don't want to go back. But I have to go back in 3 weeks for my final checkup. So let's continue this future video. I want to do this today, but I think I owe you guys the Q&A. People have been waiting for my thoughts on this book since people have been waiting a long time to see my thoughts on this. I got this book in April of 2009, and I've been reading it ever since. I finished it earlier this year. I finished it like a few days after the January 4th Raw, and it's gonna be a review / rant because I thought it's an excellent autobiography. Quite honestly, it's one of the best ones. I don't think it's better than Jericho or Foley's, and as a book, I don't think it's better than The Death of WCW, but it's up there among my top tier books. But there's so many things that he says that I think are just complete garbage. For instance, I'm just give you one, which is probably my biggest problem with it. He bashes Dave Meltzer a lot. Like saying how he doesn't know much about the wrestling business, how you don't really know how good of a worker is unless you're in the ring with him, which I kind of do agree. You know, like well, to an extent, I agree with that. He's doing all this, and then in the later chapters, when we get to the 90s, where he thinks the WWF, quote-unquote, lost faith in him, he constantly quotes Meltzer, who kept saying that, you know, Shawn as champion did bad for the business, Bret as champion drew a little more ratings. He kept quotes like every single page. I'm like, if you hate the guy, why are you quoting him to make yourself look better? I just really hated that. I'm reading Luthez' autobiography. It's very, very excellent, but not even close to finish. Okay, let's do this. Oh, please don't send me any more questions. I'm really glad the people who did, because those questions are amazing. But like I said, I have 70-something questions. Please don't send more. Now that Katie Lea is on Raw, how would you book the underrated and talented Paul Burchill, and on what show? I don't know why so many people love Paul Burchill. I've seen him in the WWE since 2005, and I have no problem with certain British talent, or I don't know if he's British. You know, I really love Regal. I kind of like McIntyre. I'm trying to think of others, but I can't. I like Katie Lea. I just never got into Paul Burchill. But if you guys think he's so great, I don't know what this new show is gonna be for WWE. If it's just for the FCW guys, I don't know what they're gonna do. But with that in mind, I think Paul Burchill's career is gonna go even into more of a slump because he's not gonna be doing much. But if ECW is still around, I would give him a moderate push. I thought Christian should have had more of a feud with him. I thought they could have had a good match, even though I never really got into him. ASuperS, if you could change anything in the WWE, what would it be? Right now, take the belt off of Sheamus. What else am I going to say? Which ROH wrestler do you think should come to WWE or TNA? Colt Cabana, but, you know, since that experiment failed, I'm going to go with, in my opinion, the second most entertaining guy on the roster, and that is Rhett Titus. LumpyAdams says, the better gimmick, Isaac Yankem DDS or the Goon? Isaac Yankem. That gimmick was, you know, it was bad, but it was still decent. The Goon was a straight copy off of a movie. RatedRMizfit, what did you think of the Randy Orton throwing a his fit after a three-way? Heard Kofi. I agree with what Next Big Thing and True Sayer were saying in a call with me one time. They both said, you know, no one would have noticed what happened if Randy Orton didn't completely bitch about it. If Randy Orton did nothing, no one would have noticed it was a botch finish at all. So I thought him bitching at Kofi was moderately undeserved. And I think that's why Kofi is looking extremely weak right now. Do you think my Bengals are going to go back to being the Bungles after this year? I have a feeling we may pull an 07 Brown and go right back into obscurity, especially if Mike Zimmer leaves, which is likely. I'm going to do one even better. I think you guys are going to be like the 05 Bengals, who went to the playoffs, very, very good team, and then they came back the next year and just stunk up the joint. I don't think you guys will just go back to obscurity. I think you'll still be a decent team. I think you'll be like that team that goes 7-9, 6-10, doesn't go back to the playoffs for a few years. But, you know, you guys do have all the talent in the world, for the most part. I think your defense is extremely underrated. And it's ranked one of the top defenses, but people don't rank it as such. Pads Chargers 2009, what are your thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom IV? Haven't seen the show at all. Honor Hammer tells me it's great, though. Do you think Hiroshi Tanahashi needs to go to WWE, TNA, stay in Japan, or ROH? I would prefer for him to stay in Japan. I've seen barely anything from him. I don't even think I've seen a full match, but the guy has talent. But from what I know, he's fighting for the belt, I think he just should have stayed there. I don't know the full story in his career. Do you see the WWE bringing in someone like the Briscoes to the WWE? Yes, supposedly the Briscoes did tryouts for the WWE. I do hope they come, but if they do come, ROH's division is totally royally fucked. I don't care what anybody says, their division is totally fucked because they have very little teams left. But still, I think they could easily see them in the WWE. And I think they've toned down their style themselves this past year, so I don't think their style will be that much watered down. Sandra Robbins always been saying, the Briscoes aren't really the same anymore. Maybe they'd fit well in the WWE. Who do you think is better wrestler, Kenta or Tanahashi? I haven't seen enough of Tanahashi to judge, but I'll still say Kenta because I still think Kenta's the best in the world. Instant Classic G1. Does the ROH World title and ROH Tag Team title need a new look? It seems to play, on the other hand, it links the titles to the original winner. I don't really care about the look for the title, but I will say the World title and the Tag Team titles look way too similar. They're like exactly the same. And I think, your belt should be a little more prestigious if they looked different. So literally, the belts look exactly the same. Quote Nevermore 432, what is your favorite year of WWE, TNA, ROH? If you have a favorite year of each promotion. I've said this before, TNA, 2003, in my opinion. Maybe even 2002, but it wasn't a full year. ROH, 2007. WWE, I would say 2002 or 2004. Even though a lot of people didn't really like 2004. I thought it was a lot of fun. I loved Benoit and Eddie as champion, even if their reigns weren't really that good. How would the situation between Y2J and Edge have been if he had not gotten injured? I think it would have been excellent. I think, it would be just like Jericho, but so much better, because they'd put on, Jericho did bring prestige to titles, but they didn't necessarily put on any great matches besides with DX at TLC, which in my opinion was their best match. And I think with Jericho and Edge, they could have just taken the division by storm, and we could have seen a team that we have never seen in this company for years, which I think would have been amazing. Would it have been, this question I don't really understand, would it have been versus Crime Time, MVP, Mark Henry, Batista, and Rey Mysterio at bragging rights? If Jericho and Edge were on the same team, I don't know. Whatever, I think the bragging rights team still would have been Raw versus SmackDown. I don't think Jericho and Edge, I don't think they would have had Jericho and Edge going opposite sides, and Edge screwing over the competition, because it doesn't really work that way. I still think they would have done Raw versus SmackDown, just maybe Jericho and Edge. Maybe, I don't know, I think they were both on SmackDown. Yeah, I think it would work just fine. Would this have led to them fighting at Mania? I still think they are going to fight at Mania. And I still think as tag champs, actually I say no. I don't think as tag champions they would have fought at Mania. But, because I think after the end of the reign, they would just do what Jericho and Big Show are doing now. But I'm glad that's a good effect to it. Even though we didn't get that great tag division feud, we could get an awesome Mania main event if they decide to do it. What would someone Benoit be doing if he had not died? I don't like to talk about this, but probably still be in the WWE, still doing the U.S. tag title thing. Maybe he would have gotten a second world title reign, wouldn't really count on that. I think he'd do some more fun stuff in the Money in the Bank. We could have seen some more great matches out of him. He might have even gone to TNA, who knows. How many titles and what rivalries are? I already talked about that. I guess the rivalry that would be good nowadays is the Benoit Punk rivalry, which we never got to see, which would have just been so great. What are your thoughts of ROH ending print runs of certain DVDs from 03 to 05? I hate it. As you know, I hate it because I'm a big DVD collector. I like having my DVDs with me, and I hate it. I hate how they're doing it on Go Fight Live because personally, I won't download ROH shows. But if someone's only incentive to getting a DVD is to have the physical DVD in the collection, what's Go Fight Live gonna do? Why should they watch it on the internet, not have it in the collection when they can just download it for free? I mean, not saying I promote it and not saying I'll do it, but really, I mean, it makes no sense for me. John the Jaws, if Brian Kendrick's still part of the WWE, do you think they would push him just like the other young mid-carders? Doubtfully. His attitude problem, and they're not really pushing. Remember, these questions were a long time ago. I don't think he would be the ones included in the big push. In fact, I think he'd be the one jobbing to the mid-carders to get them over. My favorite WWF In Your House pay-per-view is Mind Games, and right after that is Good Friends, Bitter Enemies. What is your favorite WWF In Your House pay-per-view? I've seen quite a lot. Mind Games is very good. The main event is so underrated. Good Friends, Better Enemies, I think the main event's a little overrated, but I still say Canadian Stampede. I reviewed it in July. I thought it was an overrated because some say it's the best WWF pay-per-view of all time, but it's still such an awesome pay-per-view. Raymond is God. Do you think Nigel would have been a better fit in WWE? Not really. I think with what they're doing now, especially now, since he was coming in right before Mania time, where all the young mid-carders are kind of taking a back seat, I don't think it would have been good for Nigel. I think he would have been stuck in mid-card purgatory. I think actually right now in TNA he's doing pretty well. I really have no complaints with him. And I know he's heel, and unfortunately AJ's face, but a Desmond with AJ Styles title match on a pay-per-view would have just been so amazing, and a dream match for so many people. How would you book WrestleMania 23 if Triple H wasn't injured? Well, I would book it the way they did it with Cena Michaels, but unfortunately WWE was going to do Cena Triple H 2 for some reason, thinking that maybe the Detroit crowd will shit on Cena as much as the Chicago crowd did. If he wasn't in, it doesn't matter if Triple H was injured or not. I still would have done the Cena Michaels. I'm not going to lie, I'm a huge mark for the Triple H Cena WrestleMania 22 match. What do you think of the match and the event in general? I think the event is underrated. I think the match is kind of underrated, but I still don't think it's that great of a main event. Do you think Christian would have been a world champion at WWE had he not left in 05? No. I think he was good to go to TNA. I think he was kind of stuck in that position. And do you think he's someone resembling The Miz? The Miz is better. The Miz has a gimmick where he calls out the main eventers, but he's still kind of a mid-carder. I like it. Do you like the Mudkips? I don't know what that is. Do you think Edge will win the Rumble, Jericho defeat Undertaker for the title, and Edge and Jericho face each other at Mania? That's kind of what they're booking now, and I really like it. So yeah, I think WWE is going in that direction. That's all I have for today. That was another Q&A on Bigrat310. I'm out, guys.